so this is day, no, this is the second edition of the Sunday session. We tackling some paper threes, some paper three questions. Questions that I really want to look at because they they are more unusual and I think for paper two and paper one y'all could kind of wiggle your way through, but paper three is like essential that y'all understand and get a good grasp on them. So
Do you think we could wiggle our way through 1 and 2?
sure.
You that confident?
I'm
Listen,
sure.
B.
Sure.
Listen,
All right.
B.
Yeah.
Why y'all do? I know you know French, but I didn't know Nancy know French too.
Yeah. What?
She keep on saying this we.
Oh.
No, 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 no,
They
no,
know
no.
we.
When did I say we?
He say we W-E. Oh my goodness.
No, but when did I refer to you as we?
You said, Mr. Petit, you saw we could struggle through them paper 1 and 2.
Oh no, I was saying in a general sense. In a general sense.
No, say I.
All right then.
First person.
My apologies. I won't. Can I? Can I? I never took French in school. Sorry.
All right.
But yeah, I think paper threes are good. I mean, in fact, let me ask you all. You think I should include some paper twos or what do you think? Or focus
If
on
it's up to me, probably not.
okay.
Because most of them only asking you stuff you should know.
From general science.
Like what is homeostasis? Like
from general
you know.
science. From general science. What do you think?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll shut up then. Sorry.
But these 10-point questions, like if you can't answer this,
Yeah.
like you losing a whole 10 points. But
Yeah.
them paper 2, you only losing like 1 point at a time.
At a time, yeah. I mean, not that
But
we
if you
wouldn't
can't answer
consider
one
it.
of these,
I think what we have 2 hours. I think we could devote like the first hour and 30 minutes to paper threes, and then the last 30 minutes we just run through some paper twos.
Because some of them have decent questions.
Yeah, we just run through them like question box and then just give the answer directly quickly. I wouldn't like type it over.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one about the mahogany tree. Let's consider this one. This one deserves sorry. I shouldn't have that open. Okay. Okay, so alright, so it says here a mahogany tree is growing. Let me censor it first. So it says a mahogany tree is growing in a park that is infested with an insect parasite.
First question. What is a mahogany tree?
You don't know the mahogany tree?
No, I don't.
I know that's where they get mahogany wood from.
It's like a very.
It's like that red.
I say maybe tree. It's like a very big tree.
So mahogany just means big.
I don't know what where the term mahogany comes from, but
I mean in this sense, in the biology sense.
Oh, you mean in biology sense? They just give the name of the tree. They just give the specific name of that tree, right?
Yeah, like a mango tree.
Yeah, mango tree.
Apple tree.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just what I thought, specific something.
No.
All right.
It's like them tall trees where they get wood from. Like for example, here, like mahogany trees, typically they get wood from them for lumber and stuff like that. And so, like for example, this mahogany tree, they are very good for lumber, you know. So mahogany tree is growing in the park. Good question. Let's see. A mahogany tree is growing a mahogany tree growing in the park is infested with an insect parasite. Hopefully you know what parasite is. It was suggested that the tree be cut down and burnt. Discuss. So you're gonna explain. This is whole 10 points. Discuss the importance of trees to man and the environment. Oh my goodness. That's straightforward.
Wow, that's so vague.
That you could run on. This one you could run off.
Yeah, but they let you
They
go
give you room.
crazy.
Yeah, I can give you room to run to go crazy. So, um, just give me some ways. Trees could be
How about we give five each?
five each.
Yeah, since it's 10 points, they want like 10 points, right?
I, you mean five each? You say five. You mean
Yeah, like 5 points of 5 points were the answer each.
yeah? I think 5 points is good. And then explaining it like for each point you explain is for 10 points. So I would say go all out on as much as you could think of and explain it in depth. So anywhere from 5 to 8. Yeah, anything less than that is not sufficient. Anyway, let's go. So trees serve many important. So this is like a sample answer.
So
See?
when they give you these type question, they like give you folder sheets or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, full sheet. So they'd give you writing paper, so you can't write on this. I don't think it's folder sheets. It's those them papers like the actual lined paper,
Exam papers.
lined
Yeah, but
paper.
that could be in a block or something.
It's gonna be placed inside the booklet.
Mr. Petit, I have a question, right?
Yeah.
For these kind of answers, right? Because they never said paragraph form. Is it possible for me like to quote? I mean, not quote, but put something in point form to indicate like each one,
You don't
like
want
add
to
up to a
list.
point.
You don't want to list, right? What I mean is you don't want to have it like okay, it's good for oxygen, it's good for for as in photosynthesis, it's good for food. You don't want to list it like that, merely listing. If you're gonna do the listing, you wanna you wanna list and explain. So if you wanna say, okay, it's good, like your first reason is that it's good for food, that'll be your first listing, and then you have to explain on that. Then you go to the next reading and then explain on that. So each one of them would be like little paragraphs. You know what I mean?
Little paragraphs.
Yeah, little paragraphs because you're explaining each point. Anyway, let me show what I mean. So
Because I probably no, I just asked because I probably won't. To be honest, I won't put any paragraph. I would want to stick to the main point. So just for like put this in probably one or two sentences to
Support it.
explain. That's
yeah,
it.
that's what I mean by the little paragraph. Anyway, let me show you what I mean by example. So this is the typical this is a sample answer that we can say. Okay, trees, we start off by saying okay, trees serve many purposes to man and environment, right? We say that trees are what? They are producers. Um, they provide habitat for organisms. They are needed for respiration in man. Um, I guess we could say that they decrease global warming, for what it's worth. Um, and they provide wood um, for furniture.
I know that mangroves like create land over time.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that. So notice what I did. I gave it like a mini introduction, right? And then now I'm going to explain each point that I made in the little introduction. Um, so as a producer, in ecosystems, what does that mean?
Where plants and animals live.
No, I talking about as a producer. What's the significance of being the producer?
Being a producer means you produce your own food.
Yeah, yeah, and more than that, like, because we're talking about the benefits to not to yourself but to the environment and the man. So how does being the producer like help um um other animals and the environment?
Food cycle.
The food cycle, yeah, we could say that. The food chain, right? And so what happens is because they're a producer, they're the only organisms, right? So as the producer in ecosystems, trees are the only organisms that can what? That utilize the sun. Sorry, we say utilize the sun's energy to or we can say the sun's energy in a process called photosynthesis to make food or glucose. All organisms depend on trees for food. This food is essential for the existence and sustenance of these organisms and for the longevity, or we could say and for the sustainability of the entire ecosystem. So that's just talking about the first point that I mentioned on producers, right? Why it's important that they are
That's one
producers.
point.
I wouldn't say that's one point because I not only state um um why it's important, I gave a reason, right? And so I would say this is and plus what I did is I demonstrated that I understand um photosynthesis, what it's used for, its correlation to um the organisms, and I demonstrate that I um that I know what a producer effect is and who are producers and how every organism depends on the plant for food. So
And
those
the food it produces
and the
glucose.
and the food exactly, and I show that food is needed for the organisms to live and also for the whole ecosystem to work properly. And so I'd say for what we have here, alone, I'd say like starting from the beginning to the end, because I ain't finished yet. I'd say that's say 4 points at least. Um, and then as we go on to list and explain, then that would help us to get the full marks.
We were almost in halfway there.
Yeah, almost an halfway there. I just have
No,
two.
I was I only was asking because the time wise, because I would be able to write, but I'll be conscious of okay, do I have enough time to stay on this question? That's
Remember,
my
remember
concern.
for paper three, you don't have to answer all three of these questions. You only have to answer two, right?
All right.
Yeah, in section B. And so, I mean, as long as you know what you're doing, I mean, it ain't gonna take you long at all. A lot of people just have time. Even in paper three, when I did paper three, I had time, you know, to especially paper three physics. Like, there comes a time when you just, you don't have none, like, you just you have time to. I hope I remember. I hope I remember correctly. Um, but sometimes during the exam, like, you just is finish writing and then that's it. Like, it'll be enough time usually. I the only time you don't have enough time is when you don't know the answer. That is usually the case. But if you know what you're talking about, trust me, um the exam must be short. Like, you could finish it. Um so the importance of trees, the second importance of trees is that they provide a habitat. But of course I already said that in the beginning, but I hear I'm gonna explain it some more. All right. That's why I say this beginning part is like a mini introduction, because I just stated what I wanted to say first, and then I in short form, it's like a schema, and then I go on to explain, to state it again and explain, but with more explanation this time. So they provide a habitat, um, a nursery, right, and what mating environment, right, for a variety of organisms in an organization, and obviously in an ecosystem. Animals. What is a perfect example of an animal that depends on trees for habitat?
Bird.
Yeah, animals. Or you could say instead of being so general, we could say what mammals. Um, like birds, um, live in trees and make a nest. I should say I should, instead of saying, let me keep it general because ants could live in trees too. Animals like birds live in trees and make what nests in trees for their offspring.
Which
Be good. Um, so we talk
Then
about
she'll stretch it.
so we talk about it being a habitat. We talk about it being a place where producers. I'm sorry. We talk about trees being a habitat for organisms. We talk about it being a producer and therefore it providing, basically the fundamental bricks to begin with for the whole entire ecosystem when you think about it. Uh,
So there's a linchpin.
say it again.
They're the linchpin of the ecosystem.
I don't understand what you mean by that. What do you mean? Like you trying to say like the bedrock, the foundation?
Yeah, like the vital part of it.
Yeah, they are. They are. You could easily make the case that they are the most vital because, I mean, you can't make the case that they are most vital because then, obviously, they need us to live too. But yeah, they are extremely important for us. Um, so yeah, during the process of photosynthesis, um, plants also make a byproduct, right? Called what?
O2.
Sir, oxygen. Um, Oxygen is vital. It's a vital gas, sorry.
Byproduct or waste product?
Same thing for animals because they use it to carry out the process of respiration. Right, and so that was the third point that I talked about. It's needed for respiration. And then obviously I'm going to talk about now it being used to decrease global warming. And then,
It's kind of overkill though.
you think it's overkill?
Like you making sure you get that's a full 10 points either way.
Uh, yeah, but
Like ain't no room for error.
ain't no room for them.
is there is it possible for someone to actually get 10 like full 10 points on this?
Of course, of
Yeah,
course.
because they look for like science words. Like if you
Yeah,
could use a science word in the
in the
right
right way,
context.
in the right context. So all these are key terms in bio. They looking for you to use the word producer for sure. They're looking for that, no doubt. They're looking for you to use for photosynthesis, no doubt. If it's one thing you know or you learn in bio, you have to know photosynthesis. If you don't know that, then you automatically fail the bio exam. You can test that idea like so much times. They're looking for you
Photosynthesis, like everything about it.
everything about it. You need to know photosynthesis in and out. That is heavily
Hmm.
tested in the bio exam. I mean, compared to the only thing that comes close to photosynthesis in my observation in terms of what's being tested is like things about the cell. Like if it ain't things about the cell, it's photosynthesis, and if it ain't photosynthesis, it's something about the body. You know what I mean? Like it's an overkill. This thing,
Hmm.
everything, photosynthesis, everything, and so they're looking for you to understand. Like they're looking for that word habitat. These are we call them um they are keywords. They are words that are used in the field, and so they expect you to be able to use these words in the right way. And so yeah, byproduct, key term. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah. Next up is global warming. So trees,
Oxygen.
oxygen too. Trees also
'Cause, if you put like air, they ain't gonna mark that as.
no, they ain't gonna mark it the same because it can't be air. So oxygen is very vital. I like that you pointed that out. Trees also remove what plants. No, let's say trees also remove what carbon dioxide from the atmosphere because they use it right in photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas that contributes to global warming. Thus, plants decrease the process of global warming. All right. So, and the final point was is about the furniture, right? Um, so you can say that the wood from plants um, can be dried and treated. Um, then what we'll do, carve them, right, into different
Yeah.
furniture, right? And so I think five is at least is the lowest that you could give them for a 10-point answer. Give them five reasons and explain them well, and you should be able to it should be able to suffice. And after you give them five, the more the better. Like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't go more than 10 points though. But five well explained points and five listed points and well explained. That should give you a 10 marks. If you do six, that's good. The reason why I would do personally, I would probably aim for like eight because um I might explain something wrong. So um you know,
Yeah.
and
So
so
basically, if you have extra time, like
yeah, you would include it. And yeah,
what's there to lose?
yeah, what's there to lose? It's correct. And because they didn't have no word limit. Explain why burning the tree would not be the best solution, and give an alternative to burning. So this is A. Um, and so let's do B.
What they are?
They're saying explain why burning the tree would not be the best option, and sorry, would not be the best solution, and give an alternative to burning.
Oh, you mean so to get rid of the pests, parasites?
So I'm thinking, I'm trying to think like, do they mean infested with an insect parasite, suggest? It was suggested that the tree could be cut down and burnt. Explain why burning the tree would not be bad solution, and he gave an alternative to burning. Like instead of burning the tree, it's infested with parasite
And they
disease.
could just use it because remember, there's multiple use of a tree when it comes to like building. So one day, can they just use it to do something?
It's a good question.
That's
Like
fair.
build, like they could build something to do, and I said to burn it down, which I agree with.
So based off the point scheme, you would like put 3 points and three important details, right?
You mean as to why burning the tree would not be a bad solution?
Yeah,
Just I think about the year too burning.
Yeah, why would burning be a problem?
because you releasing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
Yeah,
And which even makes it more harder.
yeah.
Um, and then if there's an unbalance in the air too, it leads to
Make
I
the
will
oceans more acidic.
not even. I know it wouldn't be much to make it be global warming. It isn't much.
But they say yeah, they just say and give an alternative to burning. Um,
Building with it, constructing, doing something.
you think they mean combustion? Because what I mean is, uh,
You could take it like saw it down
saw down and do what?
and into sawdust and like use it as fertilizer or something.
Mm-hmm. It has insect it's infested with it. It's infested with insect parasites. Um, could they do it? Like, the thing is infested. We don't know how much. They didn't tell us how much it's infected by. So we don't know if it's.
Do they even want us to worry about the infestation part?
That's what I'm
They
thinking.
just talking about like in general, like trees
Being
being
burnt.
burned down.
That's what I'm
Alternative.
thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You know, it's hard. Well, to me, it's not obvious. I mean, it seems to
But
me.
then they say the tree.
Yeah. It's seeing why the tree would not be and give an alternative to burning. They say to burning though. They didn't say to. You know what I mean? To burning the
So they're
tree.
referring it back to the main point then.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, are they saying it just would seem right that they would mean alternative to burning
Put
the
this under
tree.
the laptop. The hot pack. The hot pack.
Um, you know what? Let's just answer the first part of the question of what would not be a best solution to. Why burning a tree would not be the right way. So let's just talk about that and then that other part we'll see it for later. So burning, we could say burning trees release what?
Carbon dioxide.
Yeah, a greenhouse gas, like we said, into the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide inhibits or prevents or or stops or slows down the emission of infrared radiation into space. Thus, what? Trapping heat from the sun on the earth. As a result, the earth is what? Gradually becoming what? warmer
warmer.
every year. All right. Uh, if they're speaking about burning in the sense of combustion, an alternative to burning or combustion would be to use renewable sources like solar energy or wind turbine. Um, because they don't, because those other sources of energy don't emit greenhouse gas. But if they're speaking about an alternative to burning in the sense of, you know, in light of the fact that it's infested with parasite, I don't know what would be the right answer. I can't say. So I guess we'll skip that for now. And if y'all have any, if y'all come across anything that'd be useful for that, you can let me know.
Okay, let's Google it now.
You want to Google it? Uses of what? Uses, because it comes back to ways you could use a tree. If you don't burn a tree, what to do? I guess we could say what to do if the tree is infested with parasites.
Well, we could always treat the tree for a parasite instead of having to burn it.
What do you mean?
Pesticide.
Not sure. To diagnose the problem. I'm not sure we could always um
Yeah, we could always cure it.
how to get rid of, or okay, that's true. I guess some discussion on pesticides and its work would be appropriate. Yeah, that's a good one. So an alternative,
You could go a little up, please, so I could get the top part.
no problem. An alternative to
Thank you.
the use, alternative to burning would be the use of appropriate, would be the appropriate use, right? Or we could say, I guess we could say the judicious use of pesticides, whose work would be to cure the tree from, or instead of saying cure the tree, it would be to rid the tree from the unwanted parasites, while simultaneously saving the tree for in light of its utility to man and the environment. So what I'm saying is, like the same thing what Freud said is, I guess we could use pesticides. If it would be good if we could have and maybe this is something you could look more into, like look more into um. So this is further work for you all. You could look more into like exactly how they do it, like the process, how they cure it exactly, um, why they go about that in that particular manner, and in which way it would rid the parasites. Because here I was very vague. I just said, hey, use the pesticides, and the pesticide will get rid of the parasites. I didn't exactly go into the details of why or how the the pesticides would work and which ones to use.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I guess um, those those avenues, dive into those avenues would also be a way just to show your prowess and to show how much you know uh, as it relates to this topic. All right.
All right.
Okay, so we're right along. The next question would be, see, it's state two benefits of allowing the tree to rot. State two benefits of allowing the tree to rot. Um, isn't that an alternative to burning?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I suppose.
yeah, it's almost like that's what we supposed to say. Allow the tree to rot, you know, um, because that's what the parasites would do, eh?
Yeah, they would kill a tree
Kill it, make it
eventually.
rot. Yeah. So I guess that we can say another option.
Well, I guess I would just make the tree. I mean, the parasite spread to other trees after they kill that one.
Well, that's the alternative to burning, though.
Yeah.
They didn't say a bad alternative.
It could be worse too.
Another option would be to simply allow the tree to rot. Okay, now the benefits of allowing the tree to rot. Um,
You don't have to put in like no economic loss, no
yes,
manpower.
no, very good. It's because it's a natural process, right?
Yeah.
Natural method of decomposition. This method naturally recycle nutrients well
To the earth,
back into the soil.
to the soil.
Yeah. Allowing plants to rot plants to rot significantly. What we say reduces or decreases the need to use what
Manpower.
we'd say artificial fertilizers, because um the dead plant is itself the fertilizer. You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, who's a fact can lead to eutrophication and what um bioaccumulation of chemicals. We can say naturally decomposing trees also prevents soil erosion. So we'd say when we say eutrophication and bioaccumulation, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know about bio accumulation, but eutrophication, I don't think I saw that.
You want to talk eutrophication before?
Bgcse?
Yeah,
Not really.
not really. Nancy, you familiar with
Maybe I
these?
know of it, the use, but I probably don't know the word for it.
Okay. Nancy, you familiar with these two terms, eutrophication and bioaccumulation?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Okay.
Yeah, I had the definitions from it in high school, but
Yeah. So eutrophication is basically when you have runoffs, like runoffs let's say for example, you have a farm that uses fertilizers, right? And so let's say that leaks into the water table, and then it goes into, say, a nearby stream, or let's say a nearby swamp, let's say. But what happens is that because of the nitrogen, or the wait, say, because of the chemicals inside the fertilizer, the algae inside the pond begins to increase, right? And so, naturally that would cause a a problem, if the because the fertilizer is in the wrong place. The fertilizer is inside a swamp, and so that would cause the algae to grow wild. And when the algae grow wild, they um that means that the demand for oxygen would be greater, and so um but there's other organisms inside that swamp that is also fighting for oxygen inside the water too. And so um because of the excessive amount of algae growth and little supply of oxygen, well, basically it starts to happen, anaerobic respiration starts to happen. And so that eventually would cause fermentation, because eventually the algae is going to die because there's not enough oxygen to support its life. And so now you have a flood of algae that was um that was created because of the fertilizer. So eutrophication is usually associated when the swamps become green, rich green, because of the large amount of algae that was made. And then what happens is that because they all end up dying, what ends up happening is that the swamp end up start smelling bad, and become filled with bacteria because of course they die. All right, and so that's basically the process of eutrophication in a nutshell. Okay, um, so to show you some pictures, this is the effect of it. So you see, it's the greening of the swamps. Um, too much um, algae in one place. Okay, let's see if we can have a decent picture. So there's something like this. That's eutrophication. See the greening. So a place that was once, like, um, clear, becomes totally green in color because of um, the excessive growth of algae, and
Too
and
much palisade, Mr. Phil.
ah yeah, too much of that. And and then what eventually happens is then you end up having a competition for oxygen, and then that eventually causes everything to shut down. Um,
Right? Uh, who using the oxygen?
um, the fishes and the algae.
Well, so algae to use carbon then,
That's a good question.
like regular plants.
You're right, because they should. Um, okay, how about that oxygen production? Let me see.
When they cover the surface, they probably like trapping the carbon inside
Um,
and not letting oxygen in the pond.
maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I think. Let's read it. So it's a gradual increase in the concentration of phosphorus and nitrogen, another another plant's nutrient in an aging aquatic lake. All right, the increase of the productivity or fertility of such organisms of ecosystem naturally increases the amount of organic material that can be broken down into nutrients. No, let's see. So yeah. Mm, They said that what ends up happening is as more plant material becomes available as a food resource, there are associated increase in invertebrates such as fish species. As the process continues, the biomass of the water body increases and biological diversity decreases. So, what they're trying to say is that because we have so much of the plants, um, let me see, excess nutrients are as well as some nutrients reach to some nutrients run off to the body. Algae bloom, algae can reduce light penetration. I was explaining it wrong. Okay, listen to the steps. They're saying, I think this is a good one that really, gets it good. What they're saying is that so you have excessive nutrients applied to the soil. That's what we talking about the fertilizers. Some nutrients leach into the soil and later drain to the surface of the water. So the fertilizers are placed on the plants, they get into the water. Good. The excessive nutrients cause an algae bloom. So the runoff caused, the fertilizers to get inside the water. That caused the algae to increase, right? Um, an algae is just like plants. The algae bloom reduces light penetration. That's the problem. See that, right? So if you can't have light penetration because so much, um, algae there,
Some of
like
the algae.
eventually what's gonna happen? The plants are gonna die, all right? Because they say the plants beneath the algae bloom die because they cannot get light to perform photosynthesis. Eventually, the algae bloom dies and sinks to the bottom of the lake. Bacterial communities begin to decompose the remains using up. That's who uses up the oxygen. The bacteria. My bad.
Bacteria, man.
Yep, the bacteria. You, that increase, they is the one who compete with the fishes for the oxygen. The
Them
decomp.
little microscopic things.
Yeah, using up oxygen respiration. The decomposition uses the water. The decomposition causes the water to become depleted of oxygen. If water bodies not what regularly mixed vertically, larger forms such as the fish die. So That's basically what eutrophication is. This process.
Well, like have a butterfly effect.
Yeah, it's like just
Well, no, I mean a chain reaction.
yeah, chain reaction, like a domino effect, really.
Mm. Yeah. All because you want your
All because you want your
tomato to grow faster.
yeah. I mean, to be honest, I mean, the real problem too is where you put it too. Is like, you know, um, if it's so close to the ocean, then
So you can like have a artificial like an artificial tub under your plantation to catch that runoff.
that's a good question. I'm not sure about that. Um, and then I mean, which farmer do you know would spend all its profits in saving the earth? Like, come on,
Mm.
like come on, like no, we're not doing that. All right, anyway, name the name the groups of organisms responsible for rotting process and give one example of the group. Okay, so that's exactly what we was talking about before. You want to tell me
Yeah. Bacteria.
their specific name as a group. Name the group of organisms.
Decomposers.
Yeah, the decomposer. Decomposers are responsible for the rotting process. Examples include bacteria and fungi. All right, and so that's that. That's that discussion on the mahogany tree.
So if you wanted 20 points, you would have had to know about eutrophication
No, you didn't have to know. You
photosynthesis.
didn't have to know about it. I added eutrophication. Um,
I mean, like the process.
no, you don't know. You didn't have to know
No.
eutrophication. I just added eutrophication here to explain the negative effect of using a fertilizer.
Yeah, but if you didn't know about eutrophication, you would know fertilizer of a negative effect because you would
That's
think that
that's true.
they just good for the plants.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
So you
Mm-mm.
had to know, but couple topics to get the full point.
Yeah. Yeah. The next one is supposed to be an easy one because you mentioned it earlier, um, Mr. Bethel. Um, Nancy, all is good with this topic? Any questions before we move on to the next one?
Yes, sure.
What'd you say?
So
All
yes,
is
go.
good.
Okay. Okay, cool. You kind of quiet in the back there.
Um, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Mm.
Please be good. All
Hold your peace.
right. So,
Oh yeah, I
it's
did.
where
Okay, so that's what you were talking about.
yeah. You just said homostasis. Yeah. You know them easy topics like homostasis. Let's go.
Oh, so that's a paper tree question.
It is a favorite three question. All right. Define the term homeostasis in your own words. Say.
Well, I know that's the process the body take.
Mr. Petit, just a quick question. Did you finish all the questions from the last one?
Yeah.
Can I go back for just 1 minute?
No problem.
Well, I know homeo means the same,
Mm-hmm.
and like stasis means staying that way.
That's
So that's the body ability to maintain its internal
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
internal
Um,
reactions.
I'll go after him. Sorry.
No metabolism.
Conditions, you'd say.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
all metabolisms, right? Because that's
I
the
I
sum
prefer
of all the.
I prefer to say the word conditions because temperature. Um.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I don't have temperature to maintain the internal conditions of the body. Even with external forces.
Apply. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, but
Go ahead. You saying something?
No, I was going to give a definition, but I think you already sum it up in a long way.
Oh,
I
you
still
want?
want to hear your version.
I yeah. What here exactly? I want to know.
Oh, you hear my version. I was going to say the maintenance of the body, like so the body, like a certain temperature, so the body can be able to function. The certain maintaining the certain temperature, so the body can be able to function.
Yeah, but this not only refers to temperature, so don't limit the definition to temperature, right? Um, it refers to all of the necessary conditions um, that is needed for the body to function properly. So the way I remember it is homeostasis just basically mean balance, right? And so it's just basically the body trying to remain in balance, right? Remain in in harmony, to remain in a in a state where um, all of the predefined um, um, conditions that is necessary for life are maintained, and that's what we mean when we say homeostasis. So keeping that, maintaining that, um, you know, um, internal environment consistent is what we mean by homeostasis. So let's define it. So homeostasis is defined as the maintenance
Oh, sorry. When you hear me so quiet, I'm trying to zoom in to write, so I'm on mute and then I zoom in. So when you call my name, I have to zoom out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Internal body environment
And your bad exciting.
in response to
I can try dodge that question
hmm,
because my results said I have 20/20 vision, but lately I don't know. I don't know.
all right, so list three conditions in the human body that are under homeostatic control.
Three,
Conditions in the body that are under homeostatic control.
temperature.
Temperature, yes. What else we have? We can say blood glucose level.
Yeah.
Sure. Um, how about the blood water level? Um, we could say body temperature.
Ah, I think that's a stretch.
Kind of stretch. That's needed. If you have, why you think you pee a lot? If you have excess
Yeah.
water, right? The body expels it, right? Um,
Yeah.
and so, and then if you have too much, it'll manifest itself in if you have too much, and then you have to say complications that um that um that mismanages the water, and you end up having great inflammation. Um, like say at the the
Nodules.
not merely there. I'm talking more so um below the patella in uh the tibia area around that place. You have a lot of bulging out because you don't have control. The body as mismanaging its fluids, and so the body works to keep its fluid level in balance. And so if it has too much, you use the restroom a lot. If it needs, then you get thirsty. Um, and of course, water is used in respiration too. And so um, yeah, and also it's a form of hydration, and also you need it for virtually everything that happens inside your body because hydration is important. And water is used so much, and that's why it's important to have it, but it's not important to have too much. So the body have to regulate that 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 level as well. So body temperature, we can say levels of we can say blood pressure as well, and we can say blood pH, and we can say I don't know why this going capital, and we can say pH capital H, and we can say um, levels of hormones. Okay, name two systems in the body that are involved in coordinating homeostatic control. Name two systems in the body that are involved in
Blood pressure.
say it again.
You stop presenting. She say what you meant by body pressure.
Blood pressure.
Yeah, sorry, blood pressure. Sorry. It's small line. Sorry.
Sorry, you know that blood pressure regularly should be what 120 over 80. That's the regular blood pressure. Um, and so you need that to be in good regulation. And so when I say blood pressure, that's what I mean. When people have high blood pressure, and then you have people have low blood pressure, and the people have the right one. Um,
Yeah. You just stop presenting, Mr.
oh, sorry, didn't realize. Um, let's what? Name two systems in the body that involve
Um,
coordinating
what
homeostatic.
about the oxygen and carbon dioxide is also regulated? There's no mistakes
Mm,
levels
oxygen levels. What we
because
call
if
it?
you didn't need oxygen, you wouldn't have breathed, right?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I guess that's not so obvious. What I mean is like that is not. It's not as It doesn't sound of a storm. Like for example, like when are you ever going to get too much oxygen? Like in like in a real sense. Like let's say for example, like it's not day to day. You know what I mean? It ain't as conspicuous as the other ones say, like blood glucose, which changes every
Yeah.
time you eat. You know what I mean? Or say pH level when you changes. You know, like it ain't as conspicuous, right? But I guess the body does work on it. Like it should work to maintain, um, you know, those levels. I guess you could say carbon dioxide levels too, because you know we have to we have to have we have to have little of it, and so um and also some of it still inside our body, but we exhale every time. So I guess we can say that there's a tolerable amount inside the body, and having too much of that, I guess the body would expel that in some sense, maybe by coughing or by trying to get out of the situation, you know. Um, but I don't take them as conspicuous ones. Um, uh, okay, so what two systems? Name two systems
You
in the
know, you
body.
still ain't presenting, right?
I am not presenting. What? Okay, thank you so much because I thought I was. All right, so the ones I have is blood glucose level, blood water level, blood body temperature, blood pressure, pH, and levels of hormones.
Why about blood water level? You think you should say like fluid?
Blood fluid level. That's weird. Because blood is a fluid.
Sorry, level of hormones. So that mean
Levels of hormones. So, for example, you can't have,
You like insulin?
you can't like the insulin. Like insulin only comes in at a certain time. Like insulin is not like always there floating around. Insulin is its need is present when you need it, right? Not I say that
So
not.
for some people, it's always floating around.
Well, I mean that's because well that's obvious, right? Um, But like you have to have like for example cortisol, right? You don't want to have cortisol like casually floating around, your blood because well you'd be stressed out and pissed off. Sorry, you shouldn't use that word. You'd be stressed out and very angry most of the
Agitated.
time, agitated. That's the word. And so you don't want cortisol around your blood. That's a stress hormone. You don't want adrenaline constantly, you know, around your foot, around your frontal lobe. Like you don't want that because why? Adrenaline is that fight or flight, and so fight or flight rather, and so you want your hormone level, and you don't want to have a bunch if you're a male. You don't have a bunch of um, you know, estrogen, you know, all around, like, and then if you are a young female, like you don't want to have estrogen levels all the way high because then you hit puberty too early, and so it has to be regulated, right? And so that's what we mean. Name two systems in the body that are involved in coordinating homeostatic control.
In the grind.
And what else?
And the central nervous system.
The nervous system, very good. So the nervous system and the endocrine system are the main homeostatic systems. Good. Describe what differences between the ways in which the two systems function and see. So we can say that so the two systems we're talking about is what the endocrine
Central nervous system.
and the nervous system. So we can say that electrical impulses are messengers in the nervous system, and hormones are the chemical messengers in the endocrine system. Right? We can say that um, in terms of their rate, right? We can say that um, the response.
So that's one or two.
This one is one difference, right? It's one difference. So we're saying like it's just one difference. We just say that
But I mean, like in terms of points.
uh they want four differences, so we have to give four differences, and now we got 4 points. Oh, because it's 80. Because
Mm-hmm.
oh, I see what you're saying. You're right. Maybe they want a maybe they want a difference that is maybe they want one stated difference that has two components. You understand what I mean? Like you clearly
You mean
stated,
like one is slower, one is faster? You mean stuff like that?
yeah, like a clearly defined difference between the two. You know what I mean? Like for example, we
One
can say
uses electrical, and the next one uses the blood.
I guess we hinted at that in the first one when we said that electrical impulses are used versus hormones are the messengers. We can say that the response in the nervous system is we could say that it's extremely high, right? In terms of its reaction.
It's quick and short,
Yeah.
and then hormones would be long and slow.
Yeah, generally speaking, I mean, because when adrenaline kick in, right? Um, but we can say response in nervous system is generally fast, but the response in the endocrine system.
Give me an example of something from the endocrine system that would be slow and long. Just in
Okay,
would it be an example?
I mean, take for example,
Progesterone.
yeah, that's one. When as it relates to
Repeat it.
the menstrual cycle, yeah. Um,
Progesterone.
Oh,
yeah, that's menstrual cycle. You need progesterone for the menstrual cycle, and so and also estrogen. I would say because, I mean, you don't immediately form breasts overnight. Like that don't happen in like 1 second. Like it happens like over time. You know what I mean? And so, and then let's say for example the growth hormone. Like you don't grow from 0 to 7 foot in like you know a 6 week period. Like that takes a long time. And so even the growth hormone takes a while to have its effect. You know what I mean? It's slow in its and it's more long term in a sense. You know what I mean? Its effect is more long term. But there are some hormones that operate pretty quickly. You know what I mean? Say the adrenaline gland or cortisol when you're extremely mad, or melanin. You know, when you're ready to go to sleep. You know, those react pretty
Melanin
quickly.
got to do with sleep.
Melatonin, eh? Is it melatonin or melanin?
I know melanin in our skin.
It's melatonin, not melanin. Sorry,
Oh,
tonin. Yeah, yeah, melatonin, not melanin. Thank you. melatonin, and sleep. So yeah, sleep hormone. And so
Well, that's CHN. Oh,
what are you talking about?
the formula. I
CH.
almost thought that was glucose.
So a C. It have nitrogen though, so it can't be glucose. Um,
So that's like a protein then.
it's not a protein. Um, it's just a we'd call it a um what's the word for those? Um, we'd say it's an organic material of some sort because of the carbon and hydrogen. Um, but I don't think it being having the element carbon there makes it necessarily like protein. Um, although we know protein does have nitrogen in it, they just call it a hormone. Yeah,
All right.
responsible for sleep control. Okay, hopefully that answers your question, Nancy. With those glands, some are fast acting and some are slow. Most of them, as a general rule, you know, are they're certainly less faster than the than the nervous system.
Yeah, it is a protein.
Is a protein?
Hmm.
Okay. Response and is what we'd say is or we could say it takes long as it takes longer. Um, we can say the effects of an electrical impulse last for a short time, whereas the effects of the endocrine system um, tend to last longer. We can say that electrical impulse travel via what nerve while hormones travel in what the bloodstream generally. And so those would be some 4 points. Yeah, we want 8. Yeah. I guess maybe. So where would the extra points come from? They want 4 differences. I guess maybe. I mean, what they want us to do.
I
Um,
guess for every contrast, it's 2 points.
2 Yeah, I think that would be more reasonable, and we hope that's the case. I don't know what they would want us to do instead of that, unless they want us to really explain the differences some more in depth. The only thing I'd say is we can, for your sakes, um, you can look at the differences more and see if you can develop a more, um, I guess, rigorous,
Technical.
yeah, technical response to it. But these are at least in principle the general scope, or the general framework from which to work upon, I'd say. And and yeah, I think we have the If not the meat and the flesh, we at least have the if not the meat and the skeleton, we at least have the skeleton of it for that. Okay. All right. So E is what? Explain how the skin helps to regulate the body temperature when body becomes hot.
5 points.
It's only for 5 points. I'm surprised because this is for 8 points. I see this being more for 8 points than the other one. Um. So anyway, but they say when the body becomes hot. So high. So when it becomes hot, or when you have, excuse me, a high body temperature, and we're talking about how the skin works to combat that. And so the idea here is that what end up happening is we'd say vasoconstriction or vasodilation is going to happen. Vasodilation, right? That occurs. I got bumped off again.
Yeah.
I got bumped off again.
Yeah, you still regarding now.
Okay. Um, what I was saying here for this one, for high body temperature, vasodilation would occur. So what happens is your skin
When
get
they
hot.
say skin, they mean the epidermis only, or
No, of
they
course they
still
could.
mean you could use the.
Yeah, you could use the lower parts too. The whole process that
Because I
happens.
was like, only so much the skin could do,
Yeah, only
like.
so much the skin could do it. But of course, even when we talk about the skin, technically we include all the other layers. Hey, we're not just talking about the one layer. Um, so vasodilation occurs. We'd say what that means the blood vessels increase. We'd say dilate.
That's when they widen.
Yeah, widen. Increase, increasing the volume of blood in the skin. Um, we can also say that there is an increase in heat loss from the body. So if the blood, so if the blood vessels increase and the blood, so the blood vessels widen, so more blood is able to go near the surface of the skin. And so what happens is that as that blood gets in contact with the surface of the skin, its internal heat is in a sense transferred out to the outside. And so that's how you end up getting less hot, if that makes any sense. Because um, there's a heat loss that takes place because the blood from the the blood the blood coming in contact with the surface of the skin loses its heat, right? That's the effect. Right?
Mhm.
That's why that's why it widens to make sure it gets there. Um, we can say that water and salts move into sweat glands from the blood, and occurs. Sweating occurs to what help cool the body down. Um, then we have hair erectors, hair erector muscles, erector, muscles relax, and hairs lay flat on skin, trapping the sweat to help cool the body down. And the reason why that would help cool the body down is because the more that that wet that wetness is on your skin, and the wind blows onto that um, wet um, surface, evaporation takes place, and that effect cools the body. All right.
So act like a conductor.
What do you mean?
Sweat.
Not like a conductor. It like what it does is like it has a cooling effect because you can imagine if I guess the best effect I can give you, imagine you in front of the fan and you're dry, but imagine you just finished coming with the shower, you still wet, and you stand in front of the fan. Like that is it has a more cooling effect versus just being dry and and having a fan versus being
Well,
wet
I
and
mean,
having a fan.
I thought
But what
that
if
it
no wind
depends.
blowing though?
What if no wind blowing? Um, it's still more cooler because the body is striving in any way possible to um to be cooled. That's the effect. And so the body isn't saying, "Oh, it's not windy, so I'm not gonna produce sweat because it's not." No, 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 no. The body is like, "Okay, I'm hot. I'm gonna produce the sweat. The sweat is going to hopefully, if there's wind, it's gonna cause evaporation. Even if there's not wind, it still is gonna be less warmer as opposed to if I don't produce the sweat, right? And so that's the fact.
All right then.
Yeah, I'm saying because conductors usually is transmit heat. But I think in that sense,
But you can't say water is a conductor. You only mean water though,
the sweat.
not a conductor. You can't use the word conductor.
Okay.
Conductor, water conducting heat. Usually, we associate that for like stuff like copper and no, no, relax.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
it's like more of a
yeah.
circuit thing.
I guess you're trying to use it metaphorically in a sense, or
Yeah, I guess so.
okay, in that sense. I thought you mean technically.
I know,
Oh,
like,
okay, okay, okay. I'm trying to figure where you
but
getting that
water
from.
is a conductor though, because they have free electrons,
Say
right?
it again.
And water is a conductor, as long as electrons flow freely.
I'd say so. I've heard that before.
Yeah, because it ain't a solid. Like, I mean, yeah, like, and like, if something like you can, inside the bath, you can like have a toaster next to you,
Yeah, yeah,
because you
yeah.
can get
Yeah,
electrocuted,
yeah, yeah. That's a conductor. I see what you're saying.
or blowing hair blower.
They say, well, they say it's an excellent point. No, that ain't right. Uh, let's see. Oh, it's because of the ions that's in the water.
Okay,
Yeah,
so the salt help that.
but I don't know where you get conducting from because we ain't with electricity. I I understand why you say that the water would conduct.
All right. That's how I make a look at
Yeah,
my off time.
yeah. Okay, so that's all five, right? For that.
But we can't get sweat. Like, can we even get sweat without salt?
I'm not sure. Not sure. You know, usually salt is insert. Usually it seems as if that's like how it is. Um,
Yeah, because I know like water follow the salt wherever it go.
you mean like
So especially in the body,
I understand you
like
saying.
wherever salt there is, the water gotta follow it.
I don't know the precise mechanism of an insect production, so I can't say. But it seems to me that like I mean, when we think about salt specifically, salt is always associated with it, so it seems like a necessary ingredient to me. Um, but yeah, we'll look into that some more. There's always some more to it.
Also, on this list, you did say where the vessels move closer to the surface.
Not the vessels move closer to the surface, though. The blood vessels widen to allow blood to move closer to the surface.
Okay.
Yeah.
So only when it cold, the blood vessels go down further.
No, the blood vessels don't go down further. The blood vessels would narrow, so they would constrict the blood. So they would constrict themselves such that less blood would be allowed to make contact with the surface. Reason why is because the heat that's inside the blood will be lost into the environment. And but you don't want that. It's
Uh,
cold. And so you want to keep it as close to the core as possible.
all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
all.
now we going on paper two then.
We have 7 more minutes of paper three time and then we transition over. We'll be
But we
looking
ain't
at
got nothing else to answer.
yeah, lymphatic system.
All lymphatic system. Okay.
Help me understand what kind of system is that? Like
Lymphatic system, with all the
It's a
nodes,
wonderful system.
the lymph
drip
nodes.
okay, too much you okay, I hear a bunch of feedback. And what?
Like the lymph nodes?
Lymph node?
Lymph nodes. Like you actually know. So we have the lymph nodes here and here in the groin area.
This no, I did someone try to teach me I never understood the system.
Well, the purpose, right? One of the main functions of the lymphatic system is immunity, right? When I say immunity, I mean like you see these like little nodes here.
Hold on, let me zoom in.
You have to zoom into that. Wow.
Okay, I think oh, okay, I see it.
Yeah, you see all them. It's a bunch of them, right? They are like
Like these little grayish, the grayish, greeny things,
yeah,
right?
they like beans, right? See the bean size and shape, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what they are like um your little police stations of the body. And so
Mm-hmm.
what happens is that they contain bacteria. They contain not contain but contain in the sense of like they trap bacteria and viruses, and they have within them like little policemen, like little white blood cells, like the phagocytes, to basically um, defend the body against diseases. So one of the main functions of the lymphatic system is immunity, like protection.
Like roadblocks.
Yeah, like roadblocks. Another function of the lymphatic system is to keep fluid balance, not blood balance and blood like you know how like the heart pumps the blood. Well, you have body fluids and the
Tissue
lymphatic
fluid.
system, yeah, tissue fluids. Really, it's really water that seeps from the blood, right? Like that's the water that because remember, um, certain
And
blood,
I thought that's the plasma though.
yeah, plasma exactly. The reason why is because certain places in the body is so small that you would say, oh, blood is just water, it's just liquid. But these places are so small and so microscopic that when blood enters it, like it's blood is in a sense, a simple way for me to put it is that blood is too big to enter it. And so
Hmm.
the plasma seeps or leaks, right? And what the lymphatic system essentially does is like a mopping system. Like it mops up all of the all of the plasma that was um basically essentially thrown away because the blood was trying to reach those, nicks and cranny, right? And what it does after it mop it up, it dumps it right back into where the blood, so that it could, so that the thing, the fluid could be regulated, right? That's the idea, right? In
There's a bit.
Yes, sir.
You know that same tissue fluid used to bathe the cells?
Bathe the cell. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. It's bathe the cells.
Okay, I didn't know that. You mean we call it lymphatic
Like
fluid?
this, clean them. Yeah, the tissue fluid is like actually bathe the cells. Like that's how it's used.
Okay, I didn't.
Before I go back to the limb,
I that I did not know. But
like
a good video on this. There's a bunch. A good video on this that helped me to understand it would be. So lymphatic. Let's see. A good one would be. This one is really good. I like this one by Alila. I like this one by Osmosis. They did a good job. So this one would really help you. The one by Osmosis is really helpful too. And yeah, those would be the ones that I recommend the most highly. Just those two. After you finish those two, you essentially don't need anything else. Um, because this one does a really good job.
And returns of the circulatory system.
So like the lymphatic system is akin to the circulatory system. Like it's like what the circulatory system is to the body, the lymphatic system is the what the circulatory system is the blood, the lymphatic system is to tissue fluid, right? And so essentially, what they're trying to say is that as let me move this, as the blood gets cycled through the body, right? Um, excess, right? Plasma leaks through, and the lymphatic system is gonna mop up that mass that happens by reabsorbing it into the circuit, right? And let's see what they're saying here. Okay, let's see what they. Okay. Mm. You talk about the lymph nodes immune function, yeah, like you talk about the immune function, how it has the phagocytes, which is going to help to get rid of the bacteria, the T cells, and all that good stuff. Immune function. Um, and then the spleen is the biggest one. Anyway, uh, so we didn't even get to talk about it, but
very interesting though.
it's a very important, very underrated system, if you ask me. People don't really talk about it much. Yes, sir. Um, yeah. So I'll leave this one for homework because we have the time for paper 3. But do this one for homework A, B, C, and D, and then let me come back to you.
Um, which paper passage this is? So I can write it down.
2013.
2013 question, paper 3, question number 7.
7.
Question 7. All right, thank you.
And then regarding the table,
Okay, so let's quickly run through some paper 2s. Give me one moment. I can write back.
Hmm?
Mr. Petit?
I wonder if that's Cooper.
No, that's me. I'm leaving my sister laptop. I want him to add me in.
Oh, he said he coming right back.
You let him know, please. I wanna join. Okay. Let me exit.
Okay, so
With the potato, I just realized something when we gone over lymph.
what?
Cells get mates. You don't realize that? They get mates. You get them to bathe them,
Yeah,
bring them food, bring them oxygen,
real.
take away the carbon.
Mop up the
You
house.
do everything for them
Yeah, but they
Why?
in
do.
exchange.
But they do.
Yeah.
They do a really good job too. I mean, they are the building blocks.
They
Goodness, I wasn't even in my house.
Okay, so excuse me, sorry. We
man, they got that office by the window.
um we did this before though. Nancy, you did it. Remember we did this? I don't know if you. Oh, I didn't give this to you before. I had to give this to you before, Nancy. Remember? Nancy, Miss Joseph.
Yes.
Remember the question?
I hope so, because
You can hear me?
Yes, I could hear you.
So,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry, I switched to my laptop.
Yes, mom. Remember this question, right? I don't think we have to go through this. What you think?
I have
With the brain, right? We did some brain, the L brain, and then this is the brain coral, I think.
Yeah, I already gave you
Yeah,
that.
we did something like that.
Yeah.
That was all.
All
So you already sent.
Yeah, all that was a part of
I
the
didn't think you
question.
give me all. You probably give me a couple,
She came on.
not all.
All
I wouldn't say all.
I promise
We
you.
did couple. I wouldn't jump the all.
I tell
I
you.
feel like they're gonna be on time.
Um, okay, so well, you finished that. Okay, you finished the whole thing. So if you finished the whole thing, then that means that you had to see the instructions. All right.
It's pretty. Is there any other way I could put like .j? I don't like to see my full name, like my last name. Is it a point whereas I could?
Why you don't want to see your last name?
Is there? I'm asking. Is there a point where I can put just J dot?
no, everyone know your last name, right?
That's my problem.
Why you don't want people to know your last name?
Why?
Personal reasoning.
Personal reason.
Government name.
So
Personal.
okay, is there any way I can put J? Because when I tried, the thing say full last name, so I want to know.
Yeah, this is going to be accessible for me. Also, I have a question. Are they like a skirt pants church? Like,
All right, let's go. Yeah, all these ones you should have seen before in the course. Anyway, let's go. Bethel didn't get to see it, so I guess for the sake of him, we can also go back for the sake of review.
So you went to a different paper, or
Yeah, you want to do a different paper one time? Because we already saw these.
yeah, to a different paper.
Yeah, let's do a different paper. Let's do this. Let's do a more recent one. Say 2016.
I had to make sure.
I think I did 2016.
Y'all had secret classes.
No, it's just that
All good.
No, man, you're not the secret
Your
class.
secret class? I wouldn't say secret classes, but
Yeah, I
You know,
have.
the
I
secret
haven't.
class.
I would
It was a sport, man.
Understood.
It
I
was
would send him my questions and then he'll mark it and send me the answers, and
yeah, this is
Okay.
sport, man.
it was
Wow.
that kind of
I said him one question and I ain't get the answer yet.
that's Mr. Mati. I have to just have to beg him to like.
What's with you forget it? You say, yeah, I'll answer you when soon as I available.
Yeah, I said at earliest convenience. That time hasn't reached yet.
Please, you
Still,
gotta beg you
another
to
math.
to
See,
pick
that's a
up.
math question.
Oh my goodness, it's not intentional. And it's well, I shouldn't say that. It's a lot has been going on, and so
All
um,
right, all right.
yeah,
Sure, in maths too.
yeah. I yeah,
I can check my book because I did a couple of paper twos I sent you. I checked in my book. Okay, yeah.
we could start with 2016, right? I think that's a good place to start.
It's 2016? Oh yeah, I did 20. No, this is
But,
2016.
yeah,
It's 2016. Can I do the first question to make sure this is the
yeah. I trying to figure. Oh, I think
book for me, the class of plan.
but he did 2016 in that thing too.
I did. I remember doing it and sending it to you. I don't remember. You sent me. I think you sent me 2010 and 2000.
No, I'm telling you, 2016 is part of that sport because remember 2010, 2016.
Yeah.
Started 2018 and did finish it. Okay, so that means that we can't do 2016. Let's just say
2000. I already did 19. We go back.
Come on. So we don't have a paper for.
no,
No.
unless it's like you didn't do coursework.
You have a paper 5 unless you do part. If you want to do
Paper
part.
5.
You want to do 2010 paper
But
2?
Yeah, let's do
they
it.
say we did. If we don't do coursework, you gotta do a paper 5.
Yeah, that's correct.
So what is a paper? What the paper? How you can skip paper 4?
I don't know what
I
it is.
don't know.
That's a good question. I don't know what it is. I don't know why
Paper
they
4 probably. Wouldn't paper 4 be like coursework and then the alternate would be paper 5?
maybe yeah, that's true. That's true. Good observation.
Okay.
Like paper 2.
Paper 2 2010.
Okay. Gee, I can't even do all the papers. That means I should be ace in paper 2. I have to walk in the past then.
That's what I'm saying.
As I tell you.
I do from 2010 straight up to 19.
Oh, Mr. Petit, I get my calculator, by the way.
I still trying to find that calculator. You say you can put in the thingy and it comes straight out.
All right, so let's
Because that's it.
let's quickly do this. So, they do not have question 1 accurately put there, so we can start from question 2 because they don't have the diagram for question 1 for us to answer the questions. But I guess we could answer part of it because they don't have the diagram. But we can no, they don't have the diagram. Sorry, we can't do that. Yeah, let's start from it.
But
Right.
we could use like
Don't worry.
imagination.
Let's just start from question.
Based off the questions, we should know what it is.
Let's just start from question 2. Write a food chain using the organisms labeled A, B, C, and D. Sorry, just A, B, and C.
They really like these food chain, like.
Yeah. So it'll be what?
I can't see A.
Write a food chain.
Okay.
C.
C. B. A.
CBA.
Yeah. CBA.
Can't be asked.
Name the primary consumer in your food chain.
B.
Yeah, the grouper. During which
That'll make a lot of sense though.
that is a lot of sense. I mean, why?
Grouper is herbivore.
Consumer. Remember the
Huh?
it's the primary consumer. It's the one that eats the producer.
But I say that it's a group of herbivore though.
Um, yes, it does eat
Oh.
plants.
Also, it's like an omnivore.
They eat other small fishes too. Eh?
I know. I never know.
So I guess I mean that the only thing that makes sense in this question is to do CP and A, and if that's the case, then that would make the grouper the primary consumer in this particular question. That's all I would say.
Okay.
That's all we could, because by definition, the primary consumer eats
Mm,
the producer.
producer.
Yeah. During which month is it illegal to harvest an asa grouper?
I do not.
The end of November
I get. You
to
can say it. I
the.
will write it down.
December the
I know. I just guessing.
Huh?
June to February.
December to
February.
February. Okay, so you say Nassau Grouper.
Yeah.
Any other dates we should know so I can write it down?
So only what 2 months?
That's
That's 3.
January, February, and December included.
That's 3.
Any other dates that you should know?
Like when stuff is illegal.
Well,
Hold on. How we could conclude December if it's the end of December?
they didn't say the end. They say December.
But isn't that like the exact period?
Say it
Like
again.
from the end of December, the exact period is like the end of December to.
I don't know, but they say which month. So
Okay, it's a month.
yeah. Any other exact dates that you would need to know? I'd say what I'd say is let me give you the other dates. Let me go on my email.
Mr. Petit,
What's up?
you won't see how some of your classmates starting to hate me for no reason.
Charlie been hating on me. Listen to me. Go back, child. Listen to me. That girl just like me.
I know she doesn't.
And
But
she says
anyway,
she love you.
I thick skin. I don't care.
She does. I don't think it's
No, sir. You see the ad that she shot me only because I know better. I be like, okay, let me let it be.
I think that well, what am I looking for? Oh, I'm looking for the dates that she said should be in general.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes that's just the nature of joking. When you're joking, sometimes people take it personal.
Oh, okay.
That's just the nature of joking. If you
But don't joke
That's
like
like
that.
so. That's like Miss would Peterson say,
these are
like freedom of speech is the
Let me
risk of
screenshot.
offending someone.
yes, you are the risk of offending someone. Like there's
Guys, it's jokes on the whole.
that's just jokes on the whole. That's why I'm learning.
I always funny. You should take it personal.
Yeah, I mean you are an agreeable person. And you are a person who can tolerate jokes, but some people the more they could joke, but the moment it's on them, then it's a problem.
Oh, okay.
And so I'd say
I stop at a little mother thing.
I'd say well, with those sort of things, like the best piece of advice is just like don't joke at all, if at least individually, because then that just causes the whole contention. I've seen.
Yeah.
So these are some dates that you would probably eat: stone crab, lobster, Nassau grouper.
Okay, I got it. I took a screenshot.
Good. All right, next.
Why we don't have one on the count?
We don't. That's the thing. We don't.
You don't think that's bad?
Yeah. Well. I mean, I think if we need to have one, it should be from January to December.
We having a class party at the end of this class, right?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but you.
Okay. Wait, hold on, wait, by me?
Yeah, by you. Go ahead, man.
Oh, all right
Yeah,
then.
we got some sauce. Sauce and cupcake.
I know, right? All right, the sand dollar.
It's between to eat meat though. What kind of song? What is that?
The sand dollar is an organism that lives on the sandy beach. State two problems it encounters in its habitat during low tide.
Dry out. It could dry out.
Dehydration.
Yes, high temperature and predators.
What is that guy will be saying?
That's what I said. I say yeah. I don't understand.
Okay, how was sand dollar look?
Sand dollar, remember, it looked like it's two different looks. So one when it's alive, one is when it's dead. When it's alive, it's more moist. When it's dead, it's more hard, and people make chains out of it, and it truly works. So,
I should have listened. I should have paid attention in general science.
yeah, sand dollar.
How much years ago that was?
I didn't pay attention. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was sleeping.
It's how a sand dollar look. Okay, that's when it's dried. But the one that's more like alive, say, would be something like this one is alive. You can tell, right? Because it's obviously not dried out. Like you can see it's alive. Let me show you the difference. I guess will make it more real to you in juxtaposition with.
I think it's necessary.
Oh, they do have it. That's why I say saying like these two. There we go. This one. Show you the data. Alive. This one's dead. Notice this one is more firm and hard. This one you tell it's more moist than
Oh, okay.
as a sand dollar.
I should have paid attention in general science.
So what helps it? It says here, name one. So the sand dollar burrows into the sand. Describe one structural feature which allows it to do so.
Irritability.
Irritability.
Oh, what?
One
Structure.
structural feature.
What is what he said?
He said irritability.
The
That's not right.
what allows it to?
Yeah, what allows it?
The what they call that?
They and a flat surface. They have a flat thin surface.
What they call them thing? Them tiny hair, filials.
They have tube feet. TUBE.
Oh, they have feet. Oh,
In a way, you have things look. They ain't gonna be.
Bottom. All right. The
What is?
last one of the seashore is the
You say
scrub
two big feet, right?
tube. TUBEFEET.
T-U-B. Okay.
The last zone of the seashore is the scrub woodland zone. Name one type of plant that's typically found here. Sea grape tree, coconut plum tree, buttonwood tree, and silver top. Any one of them could work.
well, I'll always remember the buttonwood because
Yeah,
Sea grape. I got that one. That's CT.
yeah. All right, describe one advantage of these plants that these plants have over the plants that are in the pioneer zone.
Pioneer zone. I got a little bit
they
of
don't have to deal with the salt.
Say it again.
I guess they don't have to deal with the salt water.
Yeah, and then because the pioneer zone is closer to the water, right? Than the scrub woodlands. And also, so we'd say that there's less salinity in the zone. Salinity, there's less salt, and we'd say that the soil is more stable.
Yeah.
All right, so next up here, I like this question. This one is very intuitive. I tell you, they always ask something about photosynthesis, and so here, this one will have a very intuitive understanding of photosynthesis. Question. So the idea is the following. The table shows the bubbles produced by a water plant in bright light. So this is distance from the light, and this is number of bubbles produced. So if the distance away from the light is 15, the number of bubbles produced in it will be 38. If the distance from the light is 25, the number of bubbles produced is 21. If the distance is 35, the number of bubbles produced is 10. And if the distance is 45, number of bubbles produced is 7. And so, can someone describe what's happening in this experiment?
The further the distance from the light is, the less bubbles is produced per minute.
Photosynthesis.
Very good. And so, I think the
less rate of photosynthesis.
the last rate of photosynthesis. Very good. That's the idea. So they said there are state 2 factors other than moving the light closer to the plant that would increase the rate of photosynthesis of the water plant. So what are the things you could do other than moving the light closer to the plant to increase the rate of photosynthesis? What could you do? All right, so what you can do, and like remember I tell you all that you need to understand photosynthesis intuitively, like, because if you know anything about photosynthesis, you know if you go back to its formula, right? You know that. Okay, I lost it again. Oh, I lost that.
Thank God he was there.
All right, hello. How am I keeping losing network?
Wow.
Oh my gosh, like it's a mess. Thank God. It was
I know what I was saying. That.
Hello? Hello?
I used to think that honestly I can't blame you. I used to think
Take
that
the
same thing.
please. Don't say it
I used to think the same thing.
again. I didn't know what to say.
I mean, yeah, I used to think like that too, but I just realized like plants just need the light.
Wait,
Like,
light
they
and
ain't
what
actually
else to increase photosynthesis, so what else?
Yeah,
carbon.
that's the thing. State 2 factors other than moving the light closer to the plant that would increase the rate of photosynthesis. What other things that we could do to increase the rate of
Increase
photosynthesis?
the carbon availability.
Yeah. And what else?
Really, sir? You
Carbon
ain't sharing your
dioxide.
screen.
I'm not sharing my screen. Right.
No. And I didn't hear what he said.
You could give the plant more carbon dioxide.
To increase photosynthesis?
Yeah, because they use that to make glucose. So you give them more, they can make more.
Yes. Because remember, Nancy, if
You could
go ahead. If you look at the chemical,
increase the amount of palisade mesophyll. That's
well,
all.
how though? Like, how?
Mr. Petite, you should have been here 2 minutes ago.
What else?
Things went down. Things went down.
Big joke. Nancy do a big joke. Big funny.
Things went.
I wasn't even trying to be. I was so serious, and Floyd just burst out laughing. Something, I tell you.
So what you could do is you could increase the amount of carbon dioxide, and you could increase the amount of water.
So they ain't looking for no structural changes then.
Yeah.
No, not structural. I mean, technically, how will you increase the amount of palisade unless you change the plant itself? No, for real.
Yeah, but I just figured like that was also a way like the plant could grow more leaves to compensate for the little amount of light it gets.
Okay, I guess it could grow more days, but is that like is that a variable that can't?
That is like you don't moving the light.
I know, but I'm saying like how realistic that is, like in the immediate, like you go ahead.
No, not if I have it immediately
That's
to
what I'm
have a
saying.
sweetie.
So I wouldn't go with that, but I understand. I mean, it's
Okay.
not technically wrong, to be honest. It's not technically wrong. Anyway, so the two answers I would say is increasing the amount
So
of
Mr. D,
increasing the amount of
what
carbon dioxide.
what if you What if you put it in the oven?
Hold on,
You turn the oven on.
could you let him finish that, please? So the answer to the question, I didn't get it.
Increasing the amount of water and increasing the amount of carbon dioxide. Those would be,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
What must be? What if you put it like in the oven?
Why? Why would you do that?
Cause in the oven warm.
I said temperature earlier, and he break off laughing.
Oh. Oh. Wow. Oh, I see.
That was a big joke earlier.
Wow. Oh, I get you.
That's like a part too.
That's a big joke earlier.
Anyway, how does
Why wouldn't be temperature though? Help me understand.
okay, because Nancy, what effect does temperature have on the growth of a plant?
That's so true.
It has, if anything, it'll have a negative effect, if anything. You don't want to have too much sunlight on it.
No, I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking about how your day is moving far from the lights. I was thinking, okay, if maybe if we increase the temperature, then it'll be fine. But I was thinking in my head. I mean, I didn't know my mic was on, so
Oh.
Bethel kind of heard my inner thoughts.
Oh, okay. All right, how does
That only make you stronger though.
yeah? Let's try to finish the thought. So, how does the distance from the light affect the production of the bubbles?
So they want you to say as with the further away the light is, the less production of bubbles,
Yes, and vice versa, right?
or vice versa.
The decrease.
So, the further the distance the water plant is from the light, the less bubbles is produced, and the closer the distance the water plant is to the light, the more bubbles produce.
Mm.
Name the gas inside the bubbles.
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Very good, because oxygen is what is produced as a result of photosynthesis, and so the bubbles, sorry, the gas inside the bubbles is oxygen. Name the part of the cell in which photosynthesis takes place.
Palisade, Millfield.
Mm,
Or they mean like the
cell,
outer.
animal of the plant cell.
So they mean like the leaf then.
The leaf is a good answer, but they say the part of the cell though, so we
The
can't say
top of the leaf, eh?
no. They didn't say leaf.
So
They
what?
said cell.
So they mean like the chlorophyll,
No, not chlorophyll.
chloroplast.
Chloroplast. Yes.
Chloroplast.
Chloroplast. State two differences between photosynthesis and respiration.
Photosynthesis uses carbon dioxide to make.
Hey, Callie.
What you mean like one is aerobic and the next one is anaerobic?
No, sir.
No.
One
Okay.
the difference between is that photosynthesis is a process in which plants make their food, and then respiration is used for gas exchange.
Close. That's a close answer. But they differ in three ways. The first way is they differ in byproduct. Then we could say they differ in main product, and then we can say they differ in location. So they differ in byproduct, in main product, and in location. So when we say they differ in byproduct, we'd say that for photosynthesis, the byproduct is what? The byproduct.
Oxygen.
The byproduct is oxygen. But for respiration, the byproduct is
Carbon dioxide.
So they differ in byproduct. Now they differ in main product because photosynthesis produces what? Mainly, what it's really trying to do.
Glucose.
It's trying to give us glucose or food. Respiration, what it's trying to give us?
Oxygen. Oh no, energy.
Energy.
ATP.
ATP. So the purpose of respiration is to give us energy. So its main product is energy. But for photosynthesis, main product is glucose. And then it differ in location. Photosynthesis happen in the chloroplast of plants, but respiration happens where?
In the lungs of mammals,
Cell-wise.
in the blood,
Cell-wise.
arteriole.
Cell-wise.
That thing name again.
The powers of the cell.
Avilius.
Powerhouse of the cell.
Oh, you mean
The
mitochondria?
mitochondria.
Yes, the mitochondria.
Sorry, I
Oh,
was.
I keep on.
I wasn't paying attention.
Nancy caused that.
How I caused that you was answering, you was giving the wrong answer. When I decided to give the right answer, you would jump in. Don't do that to me.
No, man.
Do that
Nancy
to me.
it's stuck in my head.
But I was.
Respiration for gas exchange. So all I think was
yeah,
gas
yeah.
exchange.
Don't blame her.
But for the guy with me, he read the question. Pay attention.
All right.
Okay, yeah, mitochondria.
Predict how the rate of photosynthesis of the water plant would be affected if the only light shining on it was green light.
That's
So,
interesting.
remember,
I know that was a negative effect.
remember, green light is what reflected by the leaves of plants. Because the plant is green, so green light is reflected. And
But what did even happen? Because isn't the chlorophyll or the thing gets green?
So if it's green light, it would decrease the rate of photosynthesis. So that's very important. Green light decreases the rate of photosynthesis. That's the prediction. Green light would decrease the rate of photosynthesis. Why? Because green light is reflected by the leaves of plants. Okay, that's what the prediction would be.
Makes sense.
So
also, what they call that thing when they just when the plants have like a patch, a different color, like white.
say it again.
Like when the plant leaf like have white on it, white and green.
What they call the what?
What they call that? Like when the plant multicolor on the leaf.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know the name of that. I don't know.
What the answer was? Okay, you say that it would decrease.
Yeah, so it would decrease the rate of photosynthesis. The second thing would be that it would not only decrease the rate of photosynthesis, but it would. The explanation is that green light is reflected by the leaves of plants.
Okay. Because thinking was already green too, right? What the thing is inside of it? I'm trying to remember what it's called. I don't remember.
Let me call the rest of them. I think I have.
Oh, it named variegated.
Very good. Okay. I think I have the call thing. Ricardo is here already. That's good. I just have to call Alicia and thing. So let me end this recording.